Today I'm looking at doing tulips. It's a good basic shape for easy flower painting, and the basic shape for the petals is a teardrop petal with a sort of pointy top and a wider bottom. So there's the first shape. The second teardrop shape comes in just behind. Make it on an angle so it's just got a bit of life and energy to it. Then the third petal is at the back and it's almost just like a little V. So then you repeat that 2 or 3 times. Put them at different angles so that they look interesting. The stems have got a good S bend in them or slight curve, doesn't matter, just so long as you don't have them straight down. Mixing up a bright yellow, big strong puddle of colour. We don't want any wishy-washy colours on this one. So a good puddle of colour. Now the first important thing is to paint the front petal with water, as we did in the previous film. And just make sure you stay in the lines. This is the only time I ever really worry about staying in lines, but this is important now because you only want the colour to go where the water is. Next, I'm going to pick up some red and just bring it around the bottom of the petal there. Isn't that gorgeous? The way it runs out, just like that, just beautiful. I'm strengthening the colour with a bit more red and letting it just flow. Carefully around the edges. That's why you need a good tip on your brush. This is the old number 12 round that I love. Next will be the yellow, which I'm going to drop into the top. I'm letting it run together, just painting it in the top, just encouraging it down the side a bit. Sometimes I tip the board just to let it run together. It just sometimes helps, but it's up to you. Just be careful it doesn't overrun, which it can do. There we go, and a little bit of tidying up there on the edge. Now repeat with the other two front petals. I've got some yellow in the paint there, but it doesn't really matter. It'll just make it a bit different. Whoops, there's a dot. We'll fix that later, don't worry. Again, the third front petal, even stronger yellow this time and a bit more of a splodge. Don't worry about that. We can fix it. Okay, the important thing now is to let that dry. Hair dryers will do the job. Repeat the whole thing now with the back petal. This time, though, when you come up to the edge of the first petal, just be very careful that you leave a little teeny gap. Drop some yellow in the top to start with, let it run down, and then come back with just a small amount of red, leaving once again that gap. That will appear as a highlight on the front petal, so that's fine. But you just want to leave a little gap. Same with the back two petals on the other flower. Same again. Don't you love the way that colour flows? And with the tippy tip. Now, I don't put too much colour in there, but do make sure you wet it first so that it flows naturally. That's it. Beautiful. Okay, importantly, let it dry first, then come back and wet the entire background with some water because I want a soft, diffused background on this one. No hard edges. If you do overlap into the flowers, it's not going to be a big deal. Mix up a light wash. I'm actually using manganese blue here, but any light blue you've got will do. And put it in on the wet surface. See how the colour's spreading on the surface? I'm strengthening the bottom a bit now, so it gives it a little bit more variation in the base. A good strong green and a square brush this time. I'm bringing the leaves down. The leaves on the tulips are somewhat thicker, so I'm actually doubling up on the stroke. Again, make sure they've got some life in them. One behind the petal, a few more, and 3 little ones there. Now the base of the stems. I'm using Derwent Intense pencil to put the stems in because I find them a little bit easier to operate. And there you have it, your tulips. I found when I looked at them again, I strengthened the stems a bit more just because it gave a bit more strength to the flowers.